working on our business and teaching our business. And it feels right now where I stand very difficult. I mean, we've been pulling it off for a long time, but because I'm attempting to restructure our print on demand business as far as the VA team is concerned in the research side, because I want things to be a lot more streamlined, and then feeling like I have to go just completely switch gears to try to teach. And with the boot camp, it was like we're restructuring something on a high level, and I'm trying to get that core idea across to people in a way that they can take action on it. I think we did an amazing job inside the boot camp. We've got a ton of great feedback. We are rethinking the teaching business quite a bit because of how well boot camp went. But just for me to find the balance between teaching the business and working on the business is becoming difficult. I think it's just because two high level things that I'm trying to do at the same time.
Yeah. For me, I would say that maybe this whole month, but definitely the last week of doing boot camp was the first time like the teaching business actually felt like one of our other businesses.
This is true.
Where like it's as like structured and we're putting as much time and thought and like have the understanding. I think is really what happened is we have so much more understanding the last week of how we want this business to be run. Before, like we said, like this wasn't anything we had planned out previously. It was just something we were doing in May of last year. We're like, okay, let's try to put more effort and energy into this thing to like see if we enjoy doing this and if people enjoy the content that we're putting out. It's no longer just us talking on Merch Mondays. Like it became, teaching and courses that we were putting together. And then, late into last year doing Pre-Flight 2.0 and having success with that, we're like, okay, we can definitely do this. And it was just something we were kind of moving forward with. Like, yes, it's working. Let's just keep doing it the way that we're doing it. But we didn't truly take the time to see the big picture of how everything is working together. And it was just because Stephen's quote that he's now using a lot is, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. Like, we just had no idea that we could even do things better. We've seen other people do it, but we didn't quite understand why, like, what we were doing was different than what we were doing or what they were doing. Like, we were reading books on how do you like market all this stuff, how do you schedule certain things, and we're like, it just doesn't feel like our content fits inside of there. And we've had a huge aha moment and lots and lots and lots and lots of hours of talking this weekend of just like, oh, now we finally are starting to wrap our heads around, what is working. And it's just thanks to the feedback inside of boot camp and some people just like being more knowledgeable than us and being willing to share with us. That's why we're always constantly asking you guys, like, please tell us what you guys are interested in. Tell us if there's any way we can help you. And just having people like, hey, we just think you could be doing this better. Like, yes, please tell us that. That's why we're asking for feedback in all these different ways. It's like, we understand we need to be doing this better. We just don't understand like what better necessarily means all the time. So,
yeah, I think you pointed out something too. When we were doing Pre-Flight 2.0, it was a lot of work. But I think because we knew how much work it was going to be and what we were attempting to do, I put everything else off. And I was like, I'll worry about the private label stuff that I'm doing, the wholesale, everything else off, and just focus in on this. And this was the first time where it was like, okay, we kind of have to now figure out how all of this works together. And I feel like as far as our print on demand business, Amazon business, brand building business, I finally got all those things to work together. And now this teaching thing is a whole new business that we are trying to learn and get better at. And like you said, the realization of we don't know what we don't know. And it's just a lot of learning that has taken place from January to now, because I am taking a course on how to teach better. I am taking a class on marketing. It's like a lot of new information along with trying to restructure our one part of our other business and then learn this new business. Was the first time I was like, okay, I need to figure out a balance between these two things. I always want to learn and be on the cutting edge of the discovery information side of our business. How do I do that and still be able to teach people? Because I can't teach them at this high level because it's so much. We're attempting to teach you guys so much so that you can be here. So when we're testing things, it makes sense to you. When I go, I'm looking in the URL and I'm trying to find how to, it's even hard to even explain what I'm attempting to do and then teach people what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. It's difficult. It's even hard when I talk to Nathaniel. I'm like, oh, I found something new, and I show him, and he's like, I don't know what that is. That looks amazing, but I don't know what that is. And I was like, oh, it's going to speed up this much time for us when we do these things. He's like, okay, that's amazing, but that has little to do with me, and even less to do with what we're currently doing and what we're trying to do with this. But that sounds good. So it's a balance, and I didn't ever think about it like that until this week when we were teaching boot camp at a high level and trying to run our business at a high level.
Yeah. I think Melinda is on the right path of what we figured out, and she was saying that we should arrange our classes like Girl Scout badges with individual merits that add up to like earning a particular badge, and that's closer to what we are doing now. We actually like see it as you can follow like these steps and get the full understanding instead of like trying to piece everything that we're doing together and having like random pieces of certain things and other courses that don't really belong, but you have to know that in order to like see the big picture here. So just like kind of teaching the same thing in multiple different places. Like there was a lot of realization going on this week. But I do like that passport idea. Maybe we'll use that somewhere, treating it like a passport, like you're getting your stamp and Spark art and things like that.
Yeah, we feel like we have all the pieces. Now we're trying to put the pieces together, rethink how we want to be teaching, and teach more in a linear fashion instead of having, here's everything you need to know about keywords and a piece of art, and then we're tacking on different things like Nathaniel said inside of one class. It just gets to be a little overwhelming. But if we focus in and just teach this part of the art, just this part of keyword, just this part of discovery research, then it makes it easier for people who are wanting to follow us, and that should make it easier for us to point to different things to go, okay, you need to know more about keywords, we can point you here, instead of going, oh, I don't quite understand the Wingman 5-step test, and we're like, well, that information is somewhere in the Facebook group. Like,
yeah, that's like what we talk about the most. And last week realizing like that video is not anywhere to be found, let's just reshoot it. That was good. But yeah, back to like what Steven was talking about, balance of like, even now that we have this like roadmap that we're following and we're putting all the pieces together, it's still a balance of like, okay, I still have, other businesses we are running while doing this. So while it's great that we're having all this realization, not wanting to drop everything just to work on the teaching business, I think that'd be a little foolish, especially with the partnerships and things we have going on now. Like you have to be aware of everything you're doing. And just set aside time to do certain things. That is like one of our higher priorities now, just figuring how everything's going to work together a little bit better, and the website's up there on the higher priorities things, but it's not like we just drop everything and that's our only focus for this month. I think that's just unwise to do that.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. My name is Steven. This is my brother Nathaniel. Together we are the Wingman.
If you guys want to know more about anything that we talked about, check the description of this video.